Welcome, traveler, to an exploration of one of Middle-earth's most enigmatic figures during its most tumultuous age, King Thranduil of the Woodland Realm. When we speak of the War of the Ring, the narrative often centers on the Fellowship, the Men of the West, and the battlefields of Rohan and Gondor. Yet the North, the vast forests of Mirkwood, the Lonely Mountain, and the lands of Dale played a critical role in resisting Sauron's forces, and Thranduil stood as one of its keystones. To understand Thranduil's significance during the War of the Ring, one must first understand the woodland realm he governed. By the late Third Age, his realm extended through northern Mirkwood, an ancient forest plagued by shadow. Although Sauron had abandoned Dol Guldur in 2941, thanks to the White Council's intervention, the southern part of the forest remained a stronghold of his power, teeming with dark creatures and hostile forces. Thranduil's realm was the first line of defense against this looming threat. Unlike Gondor or Rohan, his dominion lay in direct proximity to the enemy, constantly besieged by the shadows emanating from Dol Guldur. When Sauron finally revealed his full power in 3019, unleashing armies across Middle-earth, Thranduil's woodland realm became one of the northernmost battlefronts. The event known as the Battle Under the Trees marked his confrontation with Sauron's forces. This assault, part of a coordinated attack alongside the sieges of Minas Tirith and Lorien, was not merely an attempt to conquer, but to destabilize the northern regions and cut off alliances. Thranduil and his people, however, withstood the onslaught. The battle was no mere skirmish. Parts of Mirkwood were set ablaze, and the elves fought fiercely under the darkened canopy of their home. Despite the odds, Thranduil's army repelled the enemy. But this victory was more than just a triumph of arms. It was a profound statement. Thranduil's resilience signified the enduring strength of the free peoples, even in the shadow of despair. It also prevented Dol Guldur's forces from fully overwhelming Lothlorien or seizing complete control of Mirkwood. In doing so, he secured a vital flank for the northern defenders and proved that the elves of the woodland realm were far from diminished. What's fascinating about Thranduil's leadership is the balance he struck between pragmatism and valor. His decision to fight under the trees was not only an act of defiance, but a calculated move to preserve the land itself. He knew the importance of holding Mirkwood, not just as a battlefield, but as a bastion of hope. The elves, as stewards of Middle-earth's beauty and history, would not abandon their home to flames and shadow without a fight. Thranduil's role in the War of the Ring, therefore, cannot be measured solely in terms of military victories. His presence ensured that the northern front held firm, freeing other realms to focus on their own battles. And yet, as we will uncover, his contributions extended far beyond the battlefield. As the fires of the battle under the trees cooled, Thranduil turned his gaze beyond the immediate needs of war. His victories had secured the northern regions from falling entirely under Sauron's dominion, but the shadow had not been fully vanquished. The aftermath of the War of the Ring revealed another side to Thranduil, his ability to unite, to negotiate, and to prepare Middle-earth for a new age. Following Sauron's defeat, Thranduil met with Celeborn of Lothlorien in a momentous gathering that reflected the unity of the elves in the face of victory and loss. On April 6th, 3019, the Elven New Year, they convened to determine the fate of Mirkwood, now freed from the oppressive influence of Dol Guldur. Together, Thranduil and Celeborn renamed the forest Erin Lascalen, the Wood of Green Leaves. This act was no mere renaming. It symbolized the restoration of light and life to a place long dominated by darkness. The division of Erin Lascalen also reveals Thranduil's far-sightedness and willingness to adapt. He retained the northern reaches, securing his people's ancestral lands near the Lonely Mountain and the Forest River. Celeborn claimed the southern expanse, naming it East Lorien, while the central portion was entrusted to the Bornines and Woodmen. This division was not merely a carving up of territory, but a calculated effort to create a buffer zone of strong allies in the heart of the forest. The Bornings, known for their strength and resilience, would form a natural bulwark against any resurgence of dark forces, while the Woodland Realm and East Lorien served as elven strongholds on either flank. Thranduil's diplomacy here is notable for its implications. Unlike other elven leaders, such as Galadriel or Elrond, Thranduil was less inclined toward grand visions of Middle-earth's future, or the broader fate of the world. His focus remained on his realm and its survival. However, by collaborating with Celeborn and the Baronics, he demonstrated an understanding of the interconnectedness of Middle-earth's peoples. His actions ensured that the Woodland Realm would not stand isolated, but as part of a larger alliance dedicated to preserving the peace hard-won by the Ring's destruction. This period also highlights the subtle contrast between Thranduil and other prominent figures of the Third Age. Unlike Galadriel, who perceived Middle-earth struggles through the lens of her own long history, Thranduil's motivations were deeply rooted in the immediate welfare of his people. He was not a wanderer like Elrond, nor a warrior seeking personal glory. His choices were pragmatic, grounded in his role as a king charged with protecting a vulnerable yet vital realm. The restoration of Mirkwood also holds a deeper symbolic resonance. While other elves prepared for the journey westward to Valinor, Thranduil's actions reinforced the enduring presence of the elves in Middle-earth. Though the Fourth Age would be dominated by men, Thranduil's decision to remain in the Woodland Realm, at least for a time, suggests an enduring commitment to the lands he had defended for millennia. The meeting with Celeborn and the Bornings also underscores a poignant truth. The elves, despite their victories, were fading. The renaming of Mirkwood to Erin Lasgelon was an act of hope, but it also signified the end of an era. Thranduil's efforts to rebuild and sustain his realm reflect the bittersweet nature of the elves' role in the War of the Ring. They fought valiantly, but their time in Middle-earth was drawing to a close. To fully appreciate Thranduil's contributions during the War of the Ring, we must delve into the deeper currents that connect his actions to the broader tapestry of Middle-earth. While he may seem a peripheral figure in the grand narrative, his role reveals fascinating intersections with the themes of resilience, legacy, and the fading of the elves. Thranduil's victory, therefore, carried implications far beyond his borders. It ensured that the men of Dale and the dwarves of Erebor, led by Bard II and Dane Ironfoot respectively, could repel the simultaneous assault launched against their lands. Here lies a poignant irony. Thranduil, whose relationship with the dwarves had been fraught with tension since the days of Thorin Oakenshield, played an indirect but vital role in ensuring their survival. This unspoken alliance, born not of friendship but necessity, serves as a reminder that the free peoples of Middle-earth, despite their differences, were united against a common foe. Thranduil's resistance also reflects a recurring theme in Tolkien's work, the enduring resilience of those who live under constant threat. Unlike Gondor or Rohan, whose struggles are cyclical and punctuated by periods of peace, the Woodland Realm had faced unrelenting darkness for centuries. From the corruption of Mirkwood to the looming presence of Dol Guldur, Thranduil and his people were always on the front lines. Their ability to thrive in such an environment speaks to the elves' profound connection to the natural world. Even as the forest burned during the battle under the trees, Thranduil's defiance embodied the elves' role as stewards of beauty and life in the face of ruin. The implications of Thranduil's meeting with Celeborn extend beyond the practicalities of dividing Erin Lasgelon. It symbolizes a rare moment of elven unity, untainted by the rivalries that had often marred their history. Consider the parallels between this event and the fractured alliances of the First Age, when internal divisions among the Noldor contributed to their downfall. Thranduil and Celeborn's cooperation in the Third Age can be seen as an echo of what might have been had the elves of old set aside their pride and worked together against Morgoth. Yet this unity was bittersweet. The division of Mirkwood marked not only a renewal, but a quiet acknowledgement of the elves' diminishing presence. Celeborn's establishment of East Lorien was short-lived, and the eventual departure of the elves from Middle-earth left the central and southern regions to men. Thranduil's decision to remain in the northern woodland realm for an indeterminate time, however, highlights his steadfastness. While others looked westward to Valinor, he chose to endure, to hold the line even as the tide of history shifted away from the firstborn. Thranduil's story is also a subtle exploration of the elves' relationship with mortality. Unlike men who are driven by the fleeting nature of their lives, elves, like Thranduil, are bound to the land, their fates intertwined with its health. His refusal to abandon Mirkwood, even as its shadows deepened, reflects a deeper truth. For the elves, to fight for the land is to fight for their very existence. Thranduil's actions during the War of the Ring, therefore, are not merely a defense of territory, but a defense in the broader context of Tolkien's legendarium. Thranduil's legacy invites us to reflect on the interconnectedness of all peoples and the sacrifices required to preserve what is good in the world. His role during the War of the Ring may not receive the same attention as the deeds of Aragorn or Frodo, but it is no less significant. In his steadfastness, his diplomacy, and his defiance, Thranduil exemplifies the enduring spirit of Middle-earth. Thranduil's story during the War of the Ring is not only about battles fought or alliances forged, it is about the choices that define a people and a leader. His decision to stand and fight during the battle under the trees, to rebuild and restore Mirkwood, and to remain in Middle-earth while others departed for Valinor, speaks volumes about his character and the role he occupies in Tolkien's legendarium. One of the most striking aspects of Thranduil's choices is the tension between isolation and engagement. Unlike Elrond, who served as a bridge between elves and men, or Galadriel, who wielded immense influence across Middle-earth, Thranduil is often portrayed as distant and removed. His reluctance to involve himself in the broader struggles of the Third Age has sometimes been interpreted as aloofness or pride. Yet during the War of the Ring, this isolation became a strength. By focusing on his own realm, Thranduil preserved a crucial stronghold against Sauron's forces. His self-reliance ensured that the woodland realm remained a bastion of resistance, even as other elven strongholds began to fade. This raises a deeper, almost philosophical question. What is the role of the elves in a world that is increasingly dominated by men? Thranduil's story provides one possible answer. While others prepared for departure, he remained rooted in the land, protecting it not for glory or dominion, but because it was his duty. In doing so, he acted as a steward not only of his people, but of the very essence of Middle-earth. This stewardship reflects a theme that runs through Tolkien's work: the idea that power is not an end in itself, but a means to preserve what is beautiful and good. Thranduil's interactions with other races during this time also carry symbolic weight. His cooperation with the Bornings and Men of Dale during the post-war division of Erin Lasgalin signals a softening of the isolation that had once defined his rule. It is worth noting that the Woodland Realm's history is marked by complex relationships with its neighbors, from the wary alliance with Bard during the Battle of the Five Armies to the tension with the dwarves of Erebor. In the context of the War of the Ring, however, Thranduil's willingness to share stewardship of Mirkwood with men and dwarves reflects a growing acknowledgement of the interconnectedness of Middle-earth's peoples. Another layer of symbolism lies in the forest itself. Mirkwood, with its history of corruption and renewal, serves as a metaphor for Middle-earth's struggles. Thranduil's defense and restoration of the forest can be seen as an act of hope, a belief that even the darkest places can be healed. The renaming of Mirkwood to Erin Lascalain, the Wood of Green Leaves, encapsulates this theme. It is a moment of triumph, yes, but also a reminder of the cyclical nature of history. Just as the forest was once Greenwood the Great before it became Mirkwood, its renewal as Erin Lascalain is a testament to the enduring resilience of the free peoples. In the grand narrative of Middle-earth, Thranduil's legacy is both subtle and profound. He is not the hero who wields a broken sword or carries a burden to the fiery heart of Mount Doom. Instead, he is the steadfast king who holds the line, who ensures that the light of his people endures even in the darkest of times. His story during the War of the Ring reminds us that victory is not achieved solely on the front lines. It is also won in the quiet, unyielding defense of home. As the Fourth Age dawned and the elves began their final departure, Thranduil's choice to remain underscores a central tension in Tolkien's work: the balance between letting go and holding on. Thranduil held on for his people, for his forest, and for the memory of a world that was passing away. His actions during the War of the Ring, while often overlooked, are a testament to the enduring power of duty, resilience, and hope. In Thranduil, we see an embodiment of the elves' bittersweet legacy, a people of great beauty and power, whose light would fade but whose influence would echo through the ages. And in the shadowed halls of the woodland realm, beneath the canopy of a forest reborn, Thranduil's name remains a symbol of endurance, defiance, and the quiet strength that helped shape the fate of Middle-earth.